y'all, it's your favorite SC, Winn Dixie with Ravin Dixie Line. Thanks for joining us for this Black Friday special edition of The Biker. Tonight we have met up with the biker in his home to discuss in detail his rapid rise to popularity on the Nashville bike set. We will hear from him in his very own words how he made the decision to almost give it all up, just short of legacy, and how he is currently burning up the block in more ways than one, and after tonight, never looking back. So without further ado, I will introduce the man, the myth, the evolving biker, Law. Welcome to the show, Law. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me.
Good. Well, I've been looking forward to interviewing you for a very long time.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to do it.
Yeah. I'm glad to be here, like I said, and it's time. It's the right time to do it. So.
You ready to give us everything? You ready to just let it all out?
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Okay, good.
I'll do my best.
All right, so we'll start at the beginning.
Okay.
So what initially attracted you to the motorcycle set?
How it started was it actually started through cars. Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy.
You had a car club, right?
Yeah. I had a car club, so I wasn't even thinking anything about bikes. Mm-hmm. I was in a car club, and we grew up. We were in high school, man. We grew up with Fast and Furious, so we were all trying to do that with
the Vin Diesel thing.
Yeah, so I would go out to this. We had the different meetup spots. We would meet up back in the day, like years ago. I'm old now.
So how old were you back then? Maybe 18, 19?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had to be about 17, 18.
Yeah.
And we would meet up at different spots. I'm not going to give those spots away, but we would meet up at different spots, and people would get out there and race and just do their thing.
So you would actually race your bike?
Yeah. No,
your car.
Yeah, the cars. We did car shows. We would race on the track legally at the fairgrounds.
Okay.
Yeah, at the fairgrounds. We used to race out there. And I met a brother by the name of Tonio. He's with 60 Foot Spiders MC. Shout out 60 Foot. I met him. Mm-hmm. He was in the cars, but he also was in 60 Foot.
Okay, so that's an MC.
That's an MC, yes.
Okay.
That's one of the first MCs I ever met. They're local here. Mm-hmm. He had a car, so I was like, "Yo, come get down with my car club." And he was like, "I'm already in something." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'm in a motorcycle club. These are my brothers."
So you had never even ridden a bike at that time?
I hadn't ridden a bike at that time.
At all?
At all.
Crazy.
So yeah, I was just in the car. So he started talking about, these are my brothers. And I'm like, I'm sitting with a group of guys in my car club, which they were cool, but I never thought of them as my brother.
Right.
Like, that's kind of deeper. So
right.
I was like, yeah, do your thing, whatever. Mm-hmm. And, years passed, we kept in touch. And I remember the first time, somehow I ended up getting a bike. What happened was my mom passed away. I know that's kind of sad, but my mom passed away.
That's a part of your story.
Yeah. My mom passed away, and my dad, he ended up getting a bike. Mm-hmm. And
your dad got a bike?
Yes.
Had he ever ridden a bike before?
No. He took the class.
Wow.
Yeah, he took the class, and he got a bike.
Okay.
So how I come into this play was because I did so much work on cars, like trying to customize them. Like I won a couple car shows back in the day, and we did lighting, sound systems, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. He sent me up to the store, like, "Yo, can you put some lights on my bike?" Mm-hmm. And so I was like, "Okay, cool." And I went to the bike store.
Did you ride his bike?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I just went to the store. So imagine me, I'm just going to the store to buy some lights for him so I can install them on his bike. Mm-hmm. So I have to go to a bike store. I go to the bike store, and I see all these bikes, just CBRs.
What kind of bike was your dad riding?
He had a Honda Shadow.
Okay.
Actually, he still has it.
Okay.
I got it now. It's out there.
Yeah, so it's like a cruiser.
Yeah, it's a cruiser.
Yeah.
So I go through here and I see all these sport bikes, and I start looking at all these bikes. I'm like, oh, how fast they go? And they was like, yeah, you can do about 160, 170. I'm like, what? I said, no wonder he's into these bikes. So I was like, okay. And from that point on, when I left there, I got his lights, put his lights on. I'm like, I got to get me one.
Yeah.
And so I got me one.
What was your first bike?
First bike was a Yamaha R6. It was a 2008. And I wrecked it in like... I wrecked it in like...
no time, right?
3 months. Yeah, I wrecked it in 3 months.
So did you have any formal training before you start riding?
No,
did you get licensed or anything? Nothing?
Yeah, I got my license, but I taught myself.
Right.
I taught myself. And yeah, I taught
no
myself.
No hesitation after the first wreck? You just got back up and...
Yeah, I was like, I got to get another one.
But you raced bikes for a while. Didn't you race?
Yeah, that's further down the road.
Further down the road. Let's get there.
All right, I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So... I'll try and speed it up as best I can. I wrecked that bike. I bought another bike. And in the meantime, while I'm riding these bikes, this is my first couple. This is like my first couple years on it. I'm still keeping in touch with Tonio.
Right.
60-foot spiders. Then I ended up. My first time I rode with a club was with Goon Squad MC.
Okay.
Rico, Allen, all those guys.
Shout out to Goon Squad.
Yeah, shout out Goon Squad. And those two were the first clubs I was kicking it with tough. And I remember one night, somehow I was like, I may want to do this because it's different. When you're into the car scene, it's kind of like you're on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like you have all these different cars and it's your car. Yeah. And so you're kind of on your own. Like you got to have the baddest thing out here.
You're on your own and you're in a cage, so you're somewhat.
Yeah. What I'm saying is like. It's a competition. Even though you're in the same club, it's like every man for himself.
You're competing even with your club.
Yeah. But when it came to like this bike stuff, it's like, no, these are my brothers.
Yeah, y'all were one.
We move as one, and I'm like, at first I was like, what? And then I'm like, okay, I can get down with this. So somehow I ended up going to. I don't even know what it was. I think it was some type of meeting at Steel Horseman's Clubhouse. Yeah.
So you went to, was it an MC meeting or did you go to like a meet and greet or something like that?
No, it wasn't a meet and greet. It was something years ago. Like I was in my 20s, like early 20s.
You were in your early 20s. You're 32 now.
I'm 32 now.
Yeah.
So
it's a while ago.
It was a long time ago. And I remember going to the door and I think it was CO. He was like, yo, you got to...
Shout out to CO.
So, yeah, shout out CO. When I went to the door, he was like, yo, you need a sponsor to get in here. You know, and that's when it was real because he was right.
He was right, yeah.
Here's this guy, here I am. I didn't have no colors, I had no vest. And he was like, yo, you need a sponsor to get in here. And I was like, what? Yeah. Because I'm still thinking about this car stuff. And, you know, Tonio, Twan, G, all those guys from 60 Foot, it was like, yo, he's with us. And so I went into the meeting and...
what kind of meeting was it?
I really want to say, don't quote me on this, so don't hold this to me. Okay. I think it might have been the Tennessee Bikers Association or Education Association.
Like a TBEA meeting?
Yeah, okay. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
But it was so long ago, like, I had no beard.
You were a baby.
Yeah,
You're like in your early 20s.
I was taking it all in. And that was my first introduction to it. So basically,
you were hanging around. That's what we would call a hang around.
I wasn't hanging around.
You weren't hanging around?
No, I was just
seeing if you were interested in it.
I was just seeing what was going on. Okay. Yeah.
Eventually, you started hanging around.
So I just rode my bike. Like, really? Yeah, I never like said, hey, I'll get down or I want to try and join something. I just felt like if you know me like the way that I am, it's just like, okay, I think I can do this, but I may want to take my own path. Right. So that's kind of why I won't say I was ever a hang around. Yeah. Because I always saw like a different path that I wanted to take.
You wanted to like maybe enter in.
I mean, I don't know what it was. It's kind of how I am. It's just, that's just what happened, you know. I love those guys to this day. Yeah. Like I think I talked to Alan like this morning. Yeah. I haven't talked to Tony in a minute though, but those are my dudes. We used to race on the track. We used to race. We did track days. We did.
So what was that like? You guys raced your bikes?
Yeah. We would go to like legal tracks and do track days. Like I remember one time they had me at a racing school. So like Alan, Tonio, Twan, all those guys are way faster than me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and Guru, Dirty. I think he used to be Dirty Boys. Guru, all those guys, they kind of took me under their wing.
Yeah.
They called me the rookie back then.
Because you were the rookie.
I was.
You had to wear it.
So I used to ride with them. We used to race all the time. Hit up tracks, Barber in Alabama, Talladega.
So you said that you guys used to do some racing,
Yeah,
track days, Alabama.
We used to do track days, and you know that stuff. It taught me a lot just being around them. I don't think they realized how much it taught me, but it taught me a lot. And you know these guys out here that talk about how fast they are. Right? Yeah, you can go in a straight line with the drag racing. I'll give you that. I haven't mastered drag racing, but when it comes to road racing, which is what they were doing, which is what we were doing, it was kind of like, yo, you gotta be smooth with it. It's not just how fast you're on that throttle. You have to be smooth with it through the turns and coming out of the turns, all that stuff. You have to be smooth. If you ain't smooth with it,
and you can lean in and like your knee is like close to the.
Yeah. So
scary.
I learned a lot from them. You know, I go hang around them every now and then. They still call me the rookie. Like I can't.
Yeah, you'll never.
But those were the first ones. 60-foot spiders.
And Goon Squad.
And Goon Squad NC. Yeah.
So eventually, you made the decision to.
Yeah, the way that we came about initially to just go ahead and try and do this thing or start a MC was. I got a text. I was in college at the time, so I had some friends in college that rode bikes too. So we would get up and we would ride to the Exxon downtown. Shout out to the Exxon downtown because
the one like the type like
the one on Broadway,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You know how all the bikes come down on Broadway. So we were doing that whole thing where all the bikes show up at Broadway and we just park our bikes and hey, let's go ride. We'll ride around ride around the interstates a couple times and come back and park. That just shows how like naive we were and young we were, but that's what we did, you know? So we did that, and I was riding with some of my college friends, and I got a text one day from one of them, and he was like, yo, we want to start a motorcycle club. And I was like, you got to realize how much that entails. Like even with me saying that, I didn't even realize how much it entailed.
But at that point, you knew a little bit,
I knew a little bit,
being around a little bit. So you had a little information on it.
Very little.
Yeah.
Very little. But I was like, I got a text like, yeah, you had a car club. You know, we want to do this bike stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, let's try and do this thing. And from that point on, it was all about just, man, we learned so much. To the point to where it weeded out who really wanted to do it and who was just talking it. And we just continued to learn and learn and learn. We just had to learn so much so fast.
So were you learning as an already formed MC, or were you learning
we were learning
the ropes as form your MC?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a lot to it. It's a lot to it, and it commands a lot of respect.
It does.
You know, you can't half step with it.
So would you say that when you ultimately made the decision, because you came in onto the set as a founder and a president with no experience, you just recently started riding, really, like you didn't have like a lot of MCs, they come up on the set, like their father was on the set, whatever. But you started riding in your 20s, so even your riding years were
I probably started riding right when I was like right at 20, 21.
So you came on naive, green. You had a certain expectations, right? You had certain expectations.
And I think at that time when it was more so like, I know how to ride. I know I ride with these guys. We do these track days. Nobody's gonna outride me.
Yeah.
In my mind, you take it back 10 years. My mindset was nobody's gonna outride me.
Yeah.
That's it. That was it. That's all I expected.
That's all you thought
We're
about.
just gonna ride. And people was talking about, we gotta go to this party. I'm like,
F the party.
ride.
I'm not here for the party. I'm
ride.
here to ride.
Let's ride and let's get on these curves and that's where I was at that time.
Right.
And
so, naivety, so to speak. You come onto the set. You start going to these parties. What was your experience like when you were coming up to these other MCs with your MC? All of you guys, green as grass. What was it like? Was it intimidating?
No.
Were you comfortable with it?
It wasn't intimidating. What it was an opportunity to learn about ourselves.
Yeah.
And I can only speak for myself. When we did it, I learned a lot about me. I learned a lot about my weaknesses. I learned a lot about my strengths. I learned a lot about my areas of opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So each time we would go out, I would set goals for myself. Like, all right, I'm starting to get it, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
There's some things that I'm falling short in, but I'm going to continue to try and give my best. So I would set goals for myself. You know, I'm going to try and give respect to everybody because I was raised to be respectful to everybody. You know, I'm not going to act funny to nobody.
Right.
You know, if you're 100 with me, I'm going to give you 100%.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure I speak to every president. I'm going to speak to everybody, you know, just greet them. And I would set just different goals. Every event that we went to, I would set like at least 5 goals.
Yeah.
And I would try to check them off my checklist.
So to me, that would make you a natural born leader. Because I'm pretty sure your other members weren't worried about a damn checklist or having goals. I mean, outside of you directing them to do certain things.
The thing about us was we're all very, very smart. We all are smart. So where I'm weak in, somebody else in the group is strong.
Right.
So we naturally, it just happened. It was organic, like it's genuine.
Yeah.
When it's something about when people are genuine, it makes everything easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like let's say if like we're in a club or something like that, where you're strong at, I might be weak at. And so you're like, you see that? This is what you need to do.
Right.
And I'll naturally be like, okay.
So it's like a natural ebb and flow.
Yeah,
People
and
know
it's
where
not,
they need to pick up.
But it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen with everybody.
No, it doesn't.
It happened with us. So it was like, okay, we're gonna do this thing kind of like a team effect, to where everybody's strong in some area. How can we come together and make each man stronger, and we capitalize and be the best that we possibly can be.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we did it.
So you were the main man in charge of, in your own words, all these intelligent individuals that were able to think for themselves.
Yeah, they kept me in line too.
So what was that like for you? Obviously, they looked up to you as some sort of command, and you were younger than some of your members, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of, I know you had certain expectations when you came on the set and you formed your own club, and then once you formed it and you were there, certain realities set in.
You're right with that.
How did your
right
realities bust up those expectations?
Expectations was, okay, and I mean, this was me at 22, 23, maybe 24. Expectations was, okay, man, we're just gonna ride. Like at the first,
which is it's a normal thing to think.
Think about it.
But if you're on the set, you know,
think
so
about
much
it.
more than that.
But see, we was like, all right, our mindset was, okay, this is a motorcycle club. Motorcycle being the first thing that comes out of motorcycle club.
Right.
We're just gonna ride. Like
you didn't think about the politics.
The politics, the popularity, all of the just the extra stuff. I was
The
warned. Now
nuances.
look.
The nuances
I'll
of
say
the
this.
set.
I'll say this. I was warned. I did have mentors. They were like, yo, this is what you need to be aware of. And I'm like, okay.
Who were some of your mentors that you had early on? You can name them, or if you don't want to name them, you don't have to. But
mentors, it was a good amount of them. A lot of them are still here. You know, uncle, I call him Uncle. Too Shy.
Yeah.
You got Ramrod. It's a lot of them. A lot of them that I've just had conversations with. I remember having conversations with Marvelous, Black Onyx. Man, it's so many. It's so many that when I first started, I was like, yo, I want to be the best that I can be. How can I respect you all and at the same time learn from you all and at the same time grow?
And take away from the set or whatever, but in that growth process, you grew as an individual. So maybe like, for me, that's what I take from the set. I have so many mentors on the set that as an individual, I might not have grown as much as I have grown on my own had I not met these people, you know, at this pace. You're 32 years old. You're very wise.
I'm old.
You've had a lot of great mentors.
Yeah.
So shout out to them for sure.
Yeah. And
For
you know,
sure.
they'll say stuff like, this is gonna happen. You gotta be ready for this. And I'm like, okay.
And then you were like, fuck all that. And then like a year later, oh, that's what they were talking about. Right?
And then you reality hits. Your expectations are shot, not necessarily shot, but they go down and reality hits and you're like, whoa.
Right.
I wasn't expecting this. This should be easy.
And they said, and they told you.
They told me, you know, and I guess I'm the type where I have to learn. I have to experience it to learn. So, you know, that's what.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back after we hear from our sponsors.
Someday, as a motorcyclist, you might need your day in court. You need to know, if you contact us, you won't be standing alone. I've been riding bikes for 30 years, and as a lawyer, I understand fully the laws to protect your rights. So when you see me, you'll see one of your own, standing up for you, fighting vigorously for your rights. Because remember, I may not look like a lawyer, but then again, I don't have to. Come see us at Whitfield, Bryson, and Mason.
Let me just set the scene a little bit. You come on as a new MC. This is a club that's not a club in Nashville, because a lot of Nashville clubs form, and Nashville is the mother chapter, right? You would say that. Like a lot of clubs in Nashville.
Oh, it's a lot of local clubs.
Local clubs,
yeah,
right. So you were a chapter of a club. You gained notoriety and popularity quickly on the set. You might not admit that just because you're a humble person, but that's a fact. You gained notoriety and popularity quickly. So with that, you also gained responsibility, right? You're in the bird's eye view. And some would say that maybe you got a reality check. Huge one.
Yeah, I guess the biggest lesson that I can say that way, when, you know, talking about the journey to where we are now, as far as a reality check, it went kind of like this, you know, like you said, things did take off it took off quick. And I don't apologize, I don't regret anything that took place. Everything happens for a reason. And you learn quickly the meaning of brotherhood. And you have to understand that. I'll put it like this. What do they say back when we were like in elementary school? it had like something called what, the golden rule.
The golden rule: do unto others as you would have
the
them do
golden
unto
rule.
you.
It's simple, and so that's what I use. Like, I'm gonna give you the respect that I would want you to respect me with, and my expectation was that that's what I would get. I would get that in return, and that's not how it goes out here. It's not as sad as it is. That's not reality. And
Maybe not so sad, because maybe you needed to learn.
Yeah, I needed to learn. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I needed to learn it. That's not how it is. So, getting hit with that, it's like, okay. It's a wake up call.
It is a wake up call, but I'll say this. With all of that popularity and notoriety and the reality check that you got, you also gained a lot of respect from your fellow MCs. And I always say, and I always say this, you can measure the level of respect that a specific MC gets by the turnout of their annual, right? So you had some pretty huge annuals, and you titled them with specific titles. You had The Rise, The Antidote, The Legacy, right? So what was the inspiration behind the titles?
The meanings behind those, like when we did do those, were really to uplift everybody, because we felt like we could change, and even now, like, we feel like we can impact this thing for the greater good. We can impact this thing in a positive way. That's really what it came out of, inspiring people, to rise above your challenges, rise above your problems, overcome obstacles that you're facing, and then being the second one was antidote. Antidote is like
the medicine,
being the resolution, or being the answer to the problem, So that's what it became. And then the last one was legacy. Was leaving an impact to change the direction for the better. And that's really what it was. So, and that seems like so long ago, but yeah, that's what it was. It was a message, something positive to empower our people.
Yeah.
And
it sent a good message. And like I said, you gained that respect. But in all of that midst of everything, there was a transition, so to speak. I remember in probably April of 2016, you and I were texting back and forth, and you had sent me a message requesting me to maybe say a little prayer for you, because you were up against a tough decision of whether to give it all up and move on, or whether to stay. And so evidently and obviously you made a decision.
Yeah.
And it led to different roads for you. So tell us a little bit about what that decision was, what led up to that decision, and
well, we kind of talked about it indirectly, but you summed it up greatly. Expectations versus reality.
Correct.
Giving somebody the respect that you would want them to, the respect you would expect back. And it was a lot of things, a lot of things transpired that taught me and showed me more than anything. I can't point a finger at anybody. I won't, except for myself. And you reach a point to say, hey, I'll give my all for you, this person, that person. I'll give my all for this club. And it's like, I've got to make a wise or better decision to move forward or stop here.
Right.
And that's just really what it was,
Yes.
So everything happens for a reason.
It does.
Everything happens for a reason. I think it was the best thing that ever happened.
Right.
Because had we stayed where we were, we would have never known how big and how real this life is, this bike life is. Or like I said, I can only speak for myself. So let me rephrase that.
And we'll get back to the pronoun in a second of we, the pronoun we. We'll talk about you for a second.
Yeah.
Whenever I think about you, I always think about that Shakespeare saying, to thine own self be true.
Yeah.
Above everything else, be true to yourself. You are a person that has come up on the set, and although you have grown and evolved, you have been able to maintain your identity. You've always identified with your true self. You've never felt the necessity to go with the crowd. How have you been able to maintain your identity?
That's a good question. Like, sometimes I find myself kind of swaying a little bit, but at the end of the day, I can only be myself.
Right.
You know, you get a lot of people out here, and I don't know, maybe that is them, but you get these stories of everybody that wants to be hard, or they want to be tough, or they want to be this, that, and the third when they put a vest on, and that's it's not how it goes. You can only be yourself, because if you're trying to fake it, it eventually shows.
And it'll
It
all
always
come
does.
collapsing down.
It never fails. It always shows.
It does.
So, I'm a musician. I play at church. I can only be myself. When I first started this, it was writing. We were just writing.
Yeah.
So that's what it was.
So you are, like I said, you've been able to maintain your own identity, but with that being said, you've been faced up against a lot of opposition. Maintaining your identity, you are an avid churchgoer, correct?
Yeah.
You are a writer. You are a musician. You are humble. You are kind.
Sometimes, you know.
You are.
Sometimes.
So, you know, that's not going with the crowd. What are some of the adversities that you may have gone through with you just always being yourself? Because I know some people will try to, like, you know, they'll try to fade you.
With the set, man, you learn about stuff about yourself that you didn't even know, you know. That just comes with the territory. And at first, I'm the type of person, I don't like perceptions. Like, I don't like if there's the wrong perception of me.
Because you know that perception is reality.
Yeah,
to that individual.
And it drives me insane.
Right.
It used to. Now, when you ask me about lessons, that's one lesson learned.
That's one lesson that I'm trying to drill into you.
I can't control how
you
perceive me. It is what it is. So
yeah.
That is one thing I did learn back in the day. So nowadays, it's kind of like, oh, that's what you think, or that's what you heard. Okay, that's to you.
Yeah.
I guess that's for you, but that is what it is.
So what all instruments do you play?
I've been playing the piano since I was about 8.
Yeah. Were you self-taught or did you have
No,
lessons?
I took lessons. I took lessons.
You play in church?
Yeah, I play in church. Every blue moon we'll do something extra, like a gig or something like that. But
yeah.
Music is one of my first things that I fell in love with. Motorcycles I eventually fell in love with, and just trying to inspire people, to motivate them to be the best they can be. So. Used to race and all that stuff, like I would have like headphones and music going, and it puts you in that rhythm. Once you get in that rhythm, once you get in that pocket, you good. Like it's like, yeah.
So it's almost like necessary that you have your music.
Yeah, it's necessary. I don't want to do nothing else but ride my bike and listen to my music. That's all I want to do. It feels good.
Right. And before we had talked about your music, we were hitting on how you were coming upon a transition on the set, making a decision to leave your former club and head in a different direction.
Well,
So expand on that a little bit.
like I said, when we talked about like lessons that we learned on the set, you know, expectations versus reality, it really just hit a point to where you have to make a decision to say, okay, these are your brothers. These are the people that are gonna ride with you through thick and thin, and it's kind of like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, we could let this thing go and go our separate ways and just live our lives. You know, we wanted to stay together somehow, even when we were just riding around on our own, you know, and what do you call it? In regular clothes, I guess. Regular clothes, just riding together. You're just like, we
wouldn't classify you so much as civilians because you were coming everywhere in your plain clothes. You were on toy drives. You were at annuals. You were still doing your charitable contributions.
And I think that was kind of like the best thing that ever happened because so many times people get like caught up in a title or a name or a vest or who they think they are. You know what I'm saying? I think that was the best thing that could have happened because we got stripped of everything.
Everything.
And we were like a normal dude. And it's like we had a choice.
Yeah.
We had a choice to, okay, like, yo, we're going to just be going about our day or we're going to continue to be who we are. And we still were doing charity. We were still getting out riding. We were still crossing state lines. And we just stuck. So you look back, you look left, you look right, and these guys are still there. And you're like, okay, what are we going to do?
Okay. So when you decided to make that transition and leave your former club, some stayed, some decided to come with you, follow you on whatever path that was going to lead, and then some just took their own path. What did you learn about true brothership from that demise, so to speak?
Well, I really have to you really have to go. Give me a second, because I have to go back
Go ahead.
there.
Take your time.
To be so, your confidence is shot. Your confidence is shot. You don't know who's real and who's fake. So everybody that comes up to you and says, hey, what's up? What's up, bro? You doubt on everything. Like, you looking to the left or the right. Like, these people are not real. Like, it's not the real thing. And then you have a group of guys that's like, okay, they're going to correct you when you messing up. They're going to push you to be better every day. And they're always there. Even when you do mess up, they're not flaking on you. So it was kind of like, it was a learning lesson. It was a learning experience in itself. And like I said, it was like one of the best things that could have ever happened. Because had it not happened, we could have easily, or I'm only going to speak for myself. I could have easily gotten into this whole thing of popularity or politics or a title, and you get caught up in this stuff and you lose focus of what it's really about.
Right.
And I really think it was one of the best things that could ever happen.
It really is. And you really learned about what it really is about, because not only did you have your brothers that were in the MC with you that stood by you, but you had brothers that were in other MCs that stood by you.
Yeah, and it showed me. I guess in the beginning I was naive, like you said. I was naive in the beginning to think that everybody is your friend. Everybody's gonna give you that same respect.
And I was always like,
don't
trust him, don't trust him.
Nah. So you go through all that, and when that happened, the phone calls that normally would come in, or you'd make a phone call, them calls stopped. Everybody was like, yo, we want to work with you, we want to do this with you. All that stopped.
So what does loyalty mean to you?
It means, man, even at the end of the day, when I'm at my worst, I could have made one of the worst decisions, worst mistakes. I'm going to be corrected. And the next day, that man is still there. He's still there. My brother's still there. He ain't going nowhere.
So you would say that loyalty is a necessity. It is a necessity on the MC. So what would be your answer to people that maybe question your loyalty, since you did make the decision to leave a former club and go a different direction? What would be your answer to that?
My answer to that would be like this. I'm not perfect. And like I said, when we did do that, I was like 22.
Exactly.
So there was a lot of things that we didn't know.
Right.
There was a lot of things that we needed to learn. And one of the lessons that we learned was, I can't change how you think of me or what you view of me. If we've made a decision or we feel like what's best for us, that's what we're gonna do. And that's what it is. I can't change.
So as a human, you evolve in life.
Yeah.
Right? So we come upon the evolution.
Yeah.
The evolution of the biker, formerly known as Ace. Formerly known as Ace. We'll be right back.
If you've ever seen two motorcyclists traveling down the road, you might have seen them make this gesture. This is a common thing that all bikers do, to let them know they're part of the family. They are in this community together. I'm also in the family. I've been riding bikes for over 30 years now, and as a lawyer, I understand the rights that go into protecting motorcyclists. If you find yourself in trouble, in need of a lawyer, call me. Because I may not look like a lawyer, but I don't have to. And I won't back down in protecting your rights.
Into Harleys. He's transitioned from the sports bike to the Harley Davidson. He's even changed his name from Ace to Law, and he has also transitioned into a new club. He's a new co-founder, new president. Now we're going to enter in on that journey. Tell us about this huge transition that you've made.
Man, that was a lot.
It's a lot.
That was a lot right there.
You could just start
we'll
with...
we'll break it down like this.
Yeah,
We're talking about the Harley. I know I've been riding sport bikes for years, but when I got on this Harley, it was like, what was I waiting? What was the wait for? You know?
Yeah.
You know, you just want to keep riding. Like I don't know why it took so long to transition. You know. It's a totally different ride.
Yeah.
It slows you down, but it's a good thing. You know, everything doesn't have to be so go, you know.
I did an interview with the Biker and Country Boys, and he said that all he rode was Busas up until a certain point, and then he got himself, I think it was a Road King, and he said that it was necessary for him to get that as he came upon a certain age, because when he is on that sports bike, it doesn't matter who he is, he feels the need to press it every time. So when you get on the Cruiser, you get on the Harley, you kind of like, you can relax a little bit. You don't feel that need. It's like, it's different. When you're on a sports bike, you kind of...
You know how they say, like, it's levels to this?
Yeah.
Get a Harley. Like, it's a totally different ballgame.
Different, right? Totally different.
Good. It feels... I can't even describe it. It feels good. It feels real good.
But it's a feeling. You feel different entirely.
Yeah, like the whole ride, you just want to keep going. Let's say if you have a destination you have to go to, you just want to go past the exit. Like, you just want to keep going.
Never want to stop.
You don't. Like, it's like, especially with my music too, my music coming through, and you get a good ride going through, and you look to your left, or you might look to your right, and your brother's right there, right beside you.
We'll expand on that a little bit.
It's not no better feeling, you know?
Yeah. So, like I was saying, you transitioned in more ways than one. You were originally Ace, in your former club, transitioned to the Harley. You also changed your name to Law.
Yeah.
Why Law? Why did you choose Law?
Well, it felt like, I mean, if you think about how everything took place, like boom, we're on new bikes. The name change. It just felt like it was a new beginning. It was a new day. It was a new direction. And I took Law. Law is actually an acronym. There's a little piece of Ace in there, and it means something that's really, really in depth, and it goes into like, I'll just put it like this: if you've ever read the 48 Laws of Power, and there's different factors that create the name Ace, and it's just something that I have to grow into. That's why I'm not.
So you've evolved.
Yeah, it's just something that I'm growing into. That's right. That's really why I took the name Law. Yeah.
That's significant.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you are a member of Bloc Burnaz. Not only are you a member, you're a co-founder,
Yeah.
you're president. This is the second round at this.
Yeah.
How are we going to navigate this journey?
Well, honestly, I think, like I said, this is the best thing that could have ever happened. Every time I'm around my brothers, I'm always inspired to do more, to be the very best I can be. You know how when you enter a situation and you're like, all right, I know how this is gonna go. This is what I need to do. This, that, and the third. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, or whatever. And you get around people that's like, that pushes you to elevate. Every time I'm around my brothers, they always push me to elevate. And so I could go into a situation or I could go into something and one thing, but when I'm with them, they're always pushing me to be better. And so it's something about that that's like, I gotta.
And it's obviously
be a part of this,
yeah,
you
it's
know?
necessary for you.
Yeah.
You want to be around something that's constantly pushing you to elevate, to
Yeah.
the next level.
Yeah,
Right? Okay.
that's correct.
So, with that, joining Bloc Burnaz and elevating to the next level, you've smashed some freaking goals. You've crossed major state lines. You've hit both coasts,
Yeah.
Atlantic and Pacific. Tell us a little bit about your journeys and the state lines you've crossed.
I set a goal this year to touch both the Atlantic and the Pacific, and I was able to, back in August, I was able to make a ride from California to Nashville, and a few months earlier, I was able to make the ride from Nashville to Myrtle Beach, and then Myrtle Beach back to Nashville in, I think it was May, for Bike Week. So I was able to, within a year, pull my bike up and see the ocean on both sides, coast to coast.
Yeah.
And that meant a lot to me, And that really changed the game. It made me realize that it's so much bigger than myself. It's so much bigger than just this city. It's so much bigger than what I think I got going on. And it really just, man, it just did a lot for me. And I still think about it to this day. Like, I'm currently trying to write a book about it. So it's a lot.
Well, tell us a little bit about that, because to me that's significant, not only in the journey, but the time span in which you did it in. You traveled from California to Tennessee in 3.5 days? On a motorcycle,
about 3 days.
maybe shorter?
It was 3 days.
3 days?
Because I had to be at work the third,
On
the
two
fourth
wheels?
day. Yeah.
Not everybody can do that. Not everybody has the mindset to do that. Was that something that you kind of set your mind up for, or was it like in the moment you're like, I gotta do this, I'm committed to it, I gotta keep pushing? Like, what was your frame of mind behind that?
My frame of mind was, it was in August when we did the ride from when I did the ride from California, and my birthday was on the 27th. That's when we started the ride back. So my frame of mind was, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. How often can people take off work? How often do people have the money to make this type of a trip? So I'm going to take advantage of it, And so my mindset was, I got to do this. I got to do this. So when I do go out, they're like, yo, he did his thing.
this.
Yeah, he did his thing. You know, that's really what it was about. I wanted to say I touched both the Atlantic and the Pacific. That's what I was really going for.
I'm proud of you for that.
Oh.
I think you did it. I think you did a great
Thank
job.
you.
I think you did a great job.
I try
For
to go
me-
live with it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy to try to go live, but you were up against all sorts of elements. It was raining like crazy. It was like,
Yeah, I think it rained on some of the brothers when they was going to Cali. But when we was leaving Cali, did it rain? Nah, it was hot though. We went through the desert.
yeah.
Yeah, it was hot.
But you've seen a lot of the world. So what was it like? I know you were riding with your brothers, but a lot of that is like you two wheels in the road.
Yeah,
What was that like?
you get a lot of time to think, and you get a lot of time to see something different.
Clarity.
Yeah, and you think about it like this: when you have so many people when you have people that's so confined to just a state. Unfortunately, some people never leave the state, and it's not. I don't want to say it's a bad thing per se, but it's unfortunate for them
Right.
because they don't get to see they don't get to see the bigger picture. So you don't get to see when you're out here in California and you've got nothing but Harleys and you've got guys doing wheelies on Harleys in the middle of Oakland. You'll never see that
Yeah.
because you've never left your city.
Right.
Or when you're coming through the different states and you see the different scenery and you see the different elements and you see the different mountains and the canyons
Different terrains
and
that you're traveling.
you never see it because you never leave.
Yeah.
So it brings about a whole different type of appreciation for doing it.
You're a bona fide biker. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So you said your journey, you talk about your journey, you talk about a lot on social media, you're pretty vocal on social media. And you talk about the plan a lot. You've made a statement, no matter what, stick to the plan, keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
What's the plan?
The plan is to impact, to make a change, to make a difference in a positive way. To not get caught up in the negativity, to not get caught up in the small things, the things that don't matter, the little tit for tat things, the politics. The overall plan is to change something and leave a mark that leaves your people, leaves your brothers, people you call brother, people you call sister, better than when you first came. That's the plan. Stick to it. No matter the distractions, no matter the issues that come up, handle them, but push forward in a positive direction.
Stick to the script.
Stick to the script.
To the plan.
Don't try not to get distracted. Sometimes we get distracted. Sometimes I get distracted. But at the end of the day, you're like, what's the bigger picture? What am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I really trying to accomplish here?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. So that's really what I'm saying when I say stick to the plan. Like, don't get distracted. So sometimes, like, I'll post. It's really a reminder for myself. Like, I need to vocalize it so
Yeah.
it becomes a reality.
Yeah. And some people don't understand that when you post a lot. You post your rides, you go live.
Yeah.
You post your point of view and everything. I see that as a way of documenting your journey
Yeah.
on this bike set. Some people might see it as arrogance, maybe, or you have the need to explain yourself.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
How would you?
Well, one, perception is a person's reality. Sometimes.
So what is your reality?
My reality, as far as it pertains to the post, is really for me.
For you, right?
There once upon a time, yeah, it might have been to try and prove a point,
Yeah.
or it might have been to try to address some people. But it's like now, it's like
Now it's about you, right?
it's about me. It's like
Yeah.
I don't really have nothing like I don't want to say I don't have anything for you because I do want to impact you in a positive way. But when I post something, it's really for me. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like a documentation. Like even today, like when you go through some of the stuff, I can pull some stuff up where it shows stuff what I was posting like in 2014. And I'm like, okay, I remember what I was thinking,
Yeah.
and it even encourages me to this day.
Right. You can measure,
Yeah.
right? Your
Yeah.
growth.
Yeah.
To certain individuals, that's important. To certain individuals.
Yeah.
So I like to ask all of my bikers that I interview, what's the craziest thing that you've done on two wheels?
The craziest thing. I don't know.
You told me a story.
I know.
Tell us.
I'll tell you like this.
It's a good story.
I'll tell you like this. Craziest thing I've done. I remember when I first bought the bike. The first bike I bought, and I went through about 4 of them. First one, I had it for about 3 weeks, and I YouTubed how to wheelie, and I started wheeling, and I had it down pat.
Off of a YouTube tutorial?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I was wheeling, and I flipped off and wrecked the bike, totaled it out.
Jesus.
That was one of the craziest things. It doesn't top something my quote unquote my friend he did. I remember he I know he went. What happened to him? He was on a bike. I don't think he knew it was hot, but he found out it was hot at the last minute.
What do you mean hot like stolen or hot like hot on
Yeah, my friend he was on a hot bike. And I remember he got chased out of Tunica. He got chased out of Mississippi through a couple states. He got chased through a couple states.
How fast was he going?
I think he was doing. He said he was doing about 182, 185.
Is that the story?
That's the story. And I told him, I said, yo, I don't know how you got out of that, man.
That's crazy.
He got chased through a couple states and ended up back in Tennessee somewhere. I don't know where.
Safe and sound, right?
Safe and sound.
They couldn't even catch him.
They never caught him. My crazy story was doing a wheelie. I fell off, so
Yeah.
I figured I'd share his story.
Yeah. But you went down a few times, right? You went down a few times. You've sustained some injuries.
Yeah, that's why I limp. I was crazy when I was limping.
I don't think I knew you went down that many times when you got on the back of your bike. It's all good.
Yeah. I went down. I was one time I was doing a wheelie. Another time I was riding some back roads and something ran out in front of me. And then another time I was racing.
So you dropped a few times, and you got a little bit of a limp. Not you limp when you've walked for a long.
Yeah, I tore my knee up pretty badly, but it's all good. It's war wounds.
Part of it.
It makes you appreciate cruising now.
Your stripes. You've earned your stripes.
I've earned my stripes. People don't know it for like how old I am. People don't think that. But
because you're 32.
Yeah.
But you started this.
I started was about 19 something. So.
Very long time ago.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, I think that this is truly the beginning for you. And I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of your journey with the set. I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
It's just beginning.
Oh, yeah. We just getting started up.
Getting started.
You know what it is.
The legacy is yet to come. So I appreciate you all joining us for this Black Friday special. You all continue to watch for Bikers on the Road. Winn Dixie, out.